You're moving your organization towards an integrated marketing communication approach. What do you need to comply with? Hi, I'm Aldric Toyad and welcome to the video. There are basically 10 rules that you need to adhere to, or your organization needs to adhere to, in order to apply effectively the integrated marketing communications approach. First and foremost, everything begins at the top. You need the senior management's buy-in and support. Senior management is in such an interesting position because they have the optics to see where the organization is going vis-a-vis what's happening around them, right? They're able to see strategic as well as operational. They have that optics. Therefore, they would be able to influence and even direct to a degree how resources would be spent. So this is crucial if an integrated Marcom system is meant to be adopted in your organization. It also goes to rule number 2. You need the different levels of management, especially in 3 crucial functions, to adopt the integration. What are the 3? First, advertising or branding. Second, public relations. And third, sales. Why? Here is the thing when it comes to these 3 areas. These 3 functions are communicating to the target audience. Sales, targeting, again, target audience. PR, communicating to target audience. Advertising, promoting your product to target audience. You don't want them to compete because competition internally, in this sense, could carve out or cannibalize the whole effort. And instead of becoming a concerted effort, it becomes a haphazard attempt. Rule number 4 is to have a brand book or design manual, which everyone in the organization has to adhere to or comply with. How logo is going to be used, when it's grayscale, how is it used, what's the position, things like that. It's because, again, when you see the comms department, you have graphic designers within the branding department. You might have a graphic designer in the sales department to come up with collaterals, like your brochures and your sales kit. You might have a graphic designer in other parts of the organization. So you don't want them to go one way or another way. In fact, we went through this once in one of my clients years back, right? They engaged 2 different vendors to communicate to target audience from a single Facebook page. The comms had their own agency. The advertising and promotion had their own agency. So I was servicing the A&P. Now you can imagine if and when there are things that needs to be posted on that Facebook page, the frequency would increase dramatically, and because the vendors rely entirely on these 2 different business functions who may or may not be talking to one another for whatever reason, it becomes messy, and end users on Facebook will be wondering what on earth is going on. So that's where strategic or senior management is meant to rope in everyone, say, hey guys, look, we're going into this direction, stop fighting or competing with one another. Okay, we're managing resources this way, you do this, let's coordinate, let's sit down, let's coordinate it properly. So when you have that, the agency the challenge of this particular client, they didn't have a proper brand book other than the logo has to be like this and the color schemes are these 4 colors. That's it. So when people come and communicate, the 2 different agencies, you had one moment it's in Bahasa Malaysia, another moment it's in English. It's not really confusing for bilingualists here in Malaysia, but okay, it will be confusing when the narrative, the message, is not consistent. It looks as if someone is fickle-minded, and you don't want an organization that looks like it's fickle-minded. Okay, moving on to the next rule, which is having a clear strategy. Clear strategy is crucial, which also includes which also includes the tactics, details of how you're going to accomplish it. Having the objectives, the marketing and the communications objectives clear, the statements that will be used repeatedly, the sound bites, the slogan, if you will, the phrases, the frequently used phrases, so that no matter which function, be it sales, marketing, at a branding event, by advertising, by PR, by spokespersons, right? They use the same tagline. It becomes imprinted in the minds of the target audience. Item number 5, or rule number 5, is starting as if there were no budget invested at all. When we are operating after a certain amount of years, the body of knowledge, the body of experience develop. More so when it's developed within the silos. So PR would have its own body of knowledge. Advertising its own body of knowledge. Sales its own body of knowledge. What happens if it's not integrated? Or what happens if it's not really aligned? It seems aligned in the previous model, but under the new integrated model, it could cannibalize one another. It would even defeat its own self. It could contradict itself. It could become messy. It could appear as if it's haywire. So start from zero. Start from nothing. Start as if there's no budget. Then build in or build from that experience, that journey. Number 6, putting the customers first. Integrated marketing communication model is not all about us, the organization. It is, at the end of the day, about your customer's journey. It's about how your customers interact with your organization, your brand, your product, your services, your reputation, and your image. So understanding the buying process is crucial, especially for the 3 functions I mentioned earlier on: advertising, public relations, PR, and sales. It's not only in the domain of sales, it's also in the domain of PR, because when you're communicating out, you are also creating publicity among those who are not aware. You're also creating publicity among existing customers. You're also creating publicity among recurring customers, investors, and so on and so forth. So everyone needs to appreciate, understand, and familiarize with the customer's journey and their buying process. It should be about the customer. The 7th rule is to build relationship and the brand values, to develop relationship, to develop brand values. Why? Acquiring customers is important, but it can't be the perpetual activity for your organization. You also need to retain customers, because you don't want to be in that firefighting mode where, what happens if the customer drops off? You want them to come back and become your advocate in the market space. So when anything happens, we've seen this in when I was doing social media monitoring before. We've seen it when people who support the general public began, so once they understood the organization, the business, they began to defend that business from others. So can you imagine, as an organization, how that reduces the burden of work that you can do? Where even in terms of marketing, right? When they become your advocate, you don't need to spend as much. You spend on these fans, these raving fans of yours, and they will become your evangelists. They will become your apologists. They will become your defenders. They will become your free and unpaid promoters, if you will. And when they become your raving fans, you can say that your communication is starting to pay off. Number 8, having a marketing information system. A marketing information system is crucial for the different segments. One, you want to apply a data-driven communication. whether it's sales, PR, and advertising. You also want to know who or which customer segment needs what sort of communication, what sort of narrative to help nudge them across the customer journey. So that's the question that's the use of this MIS, this marketing information system. It can be as simple as a customer relationship management software, where the different functions can at least see an aggregated view of what's happening, who are our audience. They can definitively answer who are our audience, where are they congregating, or where are they, how do they consume data, how do they consume information, why are they buying the product, why are they not buying the product, what can we do moving forward. When data can yield these different findings, when it's analyzed, structured in such a way, but it cannot be monopolized by a single function within the business, because it doesn't make sense. Again, the data is only as good as the information that you can draw out from it and apply in your next strategy. Number 9, make all artwork and media accessible throughout the organization. Within a silo-oriented organization, within this bubble-oriented organization where different functions operate within their silo, it's normal or it's usual to see certain functions, certain units, certain divisions refusing to share their contact list, refusing to share their vendors list, or media or artwork with other parts of the organization. It doesn't make sense. Most, or if not every, company owns the intellectual property relevant or developed by the workforce for the purpose of that company, right? If it's developed on company time for purpose of the company or the organization, it should be accessible by everyone. It doesn't make sense for them to recreate the wheel, to reinvent the wheel. And as much an integrated marketing communication model requires that accessibility and sharing. And that is why it's important early on, the first and second rule, where you have the senior management, management of different levels, aligned and adopting this integrated marketing communications model, so that this sharing, this access happens throughout. Number 10, rule number 10. Be prepared for change and improvement. The only constant is change, right? It's because of political changes, economical cycles, social changes, technological advancement, whatever it is, customer behavior, change is imminent. So having an integrated marketing communication model doesn't mean that this is all and all approach to getting your message out. In fact, it's just the beginning. Adapting to your environment, the community, is key. Otherwise, you'll be you'll be spending so much on waste. There's a lot of wastage involved. So those are the 10 rules. Let me just recap quickly the 10 rules. Number 1, having the support of senior management. Number 2, making sure that management at different levels within the 3 crucial functions adopt it. The 3 crucial functions are advertising, public relations, and sales, no matter what job title or however you name it. Number 3, having a design manual and brand book that the whole organization can use. Number 4, having a strategy which includes marketing objectives and communication objective aligned with the business objective for that period. Number 5, starting with a mindset or approach of zero budget, starting from scratch, as if nothing has happened. Begin with a blank slate. Number 6, put customers first. Understand the buying process, not just appeasing and appealing to, but understanding what they have to go through before they may say yes. Number 7, developing relationship and brand values with the customers for returning customers, to cultivate more returning customers or repeat sales. Number 8, having a marketing information system that the 3 and more crucial functions within the organization can refer to. Number 9, ensuring that artwork and media is accessible throughout the organization. And number 10, be prepared for change and improvement. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. I really appreciate the gesture. I would also love to hear from you, especially if you found great value in what I've shared. Do get in touch with me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or even Instagram, and here on YouTube. So leave a comment in the comment section down below. Please share my video, and if you're on YouTube, remember to hit the bell button so you can get notifications when new videos are uploaded. Once again, thank you very much for your support, encouragement, and feedback. Bye.